My child, stop everything, because what you're about to hear will change everything tonight. This is not a coincidence. This is a divine interruption. I've stepped into your moment, and I'm not whispering. I'm thundering into your spirit. What I'm about to say carries the kind of weight that shakes atmospheres, reroutes destinies, and pulls people out of places they thought they'd never escape. This is your turning point, and the only thing I ask is that you don't look away. Don't scroll. Don't get distracted. Watch until the final breath of this message, because your future is hanging in the balance of this encounter. I'm not just going to speak. I'm going to confirm, confront, and commission. And by the time this ends, something inside, you will never be the same again. You've asked for change. Well, brace yourself, because I am bringing it tonight. My beloved, stop what you are doing. Turn your face toward me. Let your heart grow still, and your spirit open wide, because what I am about to say cannot wait. This isn't merely a gentle nudge in your day. This is a divine interruption sent to realign your very atmosphere. For too long you've moved under a weight that made you question if I was still near. You smiled through the silence, walked through rooms that echoed with emptiness, and held conversations while your soul begged for clarity. But tonight, child, that silence breaks. Tonight, that stillness, you're met with sound. The sound of my voice pressing into your spirit, with fire, with tenderness, with urgency. I have watched the timeline of your life bend and buckle under the pressure of waiting, under the ache of wondering when your moment would come. And now, heaven has reached its tipping point. Everything has been shifting behind the veil, and tonight it reaches the surface. What I am doing in this hour is not ordinary. This is not the next step on a path. This is the tearing open of a realm, one that's been sealed, hidden, and guarded until this precise second. You have been led to this message, not by accident, but by orchestration. I move in time, atmosphere, and even thoughts to bring you to this intersection. Because my words tonight will not simply soothe you. I will summon you. I am calling your spirit up from the fatigue of delay and the fog of familiarity. I am calling you into a moment that carries weight. Holy weight. You feel it, child. That stirring that you've been trying to explain away. That sudden awareness that something is about to shift. That's not anxiety. That's not imagination. That's me. That is the echo of heaven's footsteps drawing close to your timeline. I'm not sending an angel this time. I'm not whispering through circumstance. I'm speaking myself. And I'm saying this night is marked. This moment is sealed. This hour is etched into the scrolls of eternity as the night everything begins to change for you. You've been waiting for evidence, for confirmation, for something that would scream, "This is it." But my move, though dramatic in the unseen, often arrives with quiet power. Do not measure its weight by what you feel externally. Measure it by what's breaking internally. Because tonight I'm shattering the shell of doubt that wrapped around your heart like a second skin. Tonight I am peeling back the layers of delay not to expose your weakness, but to reveal your readiness. You were never behind. You were being built for a moment that required precision. And beloved, that moment is now. I've waited long enough. Heaven has waited long enough. And so I say again, my child, pause. Be still. Listen, because what I release tonight will change everything. My child, lean in even closer, because what I'm about to say is not casual. It is carved in eternal stone, a sacred shift in the atmosphere surrounding your life, in the dimension that cannot be touched by hands, but trembles at the sound of my voice. Something holy has cracked open. You've walked under clouds of delay. You've worn heaviness like a cloak, wondering when the pace of promise would finally quicken. And now, without warning, the slow has become sudden. The crawl has become a leap. The stillness has become motion. The air around you is no longer stale with stagnancy. It is charged with divine current. Do you feel it? Don't mistake this sensation for fear. Don't explain away the tension in your chest as nerves. What you're feeling is the act of momentum, my momentum. For I have released the winds of sudden breakthrough, and they are rushing in your direction with power and precision. You've questioned why it felt like everything was always just out of reach. You watched others rise while you stayed planted. You misunderstood the stillness as rejection. But what you call stuck was actually sacred restraint. I had to hold the door shut, not to punish you, but to protect the glory of the gift. I've been crafting the moment, not just the miracle. And now that the sacred hour has arrived, nothing, absolutely nothing will remain as it was. You're not waiting for change anymore. You're standing in it. I have ignited something irreversible in the spiritual realm that will now ripple into every corner of your reality. What felt blocked will burst. What was bound will be loosed. What was delayed will be delivered. Do not think this is poetic language. This is prophetic decree. I am not painting metaphors for your encouragement. I am issuing royal orders for your destiny. And here is what you must understand. I didn't let the change come until your faith was anchored deep enough to carry it. What I am releasing is not a spark. It is a wildfire of fulfillment. You won't just get a glimpse. You'll be flooded, and everything that stood still before will now sprint forward at supernatural speed. This shift doesn't require your striving. It requires your surrender. The doors I am opening cannot be picked or forced or negotiated. They swing wide because my authority demands it. I have signed the scroll. I have broken the seal, and I am now placing the weight of what has been held back directly into your hands. You'll begin to feel it before you fully see it. There will be moments of divine disorientation where what was familiar begins to fall away. Don't resist it. That falling away is evidence that heaven is moving. The veil is thinning. The ground beneath your feet is no longer the same soil. I've transplanted you without you even noticing, from stagnation to acceleration, from endurance to emergence. This is the hour where impossibility bends to obedience. This is the moment where miracles chase those who didn't quit when it hurt to believe. You're not being invited into gradual improvement. You're being summoned into rapid release. Everything that once felt frozen is melting under the fire of my favor. Everything that held you hostage is now crumbling under the sound of my advancing footsteps. I've sent angelic messengers ahead of you. I've cleared corridors that once carried curses. And now, my child, your name is echoing through gates that once denied you. The shift is not coming. It has already occurred. Let your heart awaken to it. Let your faith respond to it. Don't wait for permission from people who didn't hear what I whispered in the dark. They didn't feel your midnight tears. They don't carry the weight of the secret. Yes, you gave it to me when no one applauded, but I did. I saw it all. I measured it all. And now, in this holy hour, I declare that sudden breakthrough has begun. My precious child, breathe. Feel the pause of the moment. That weight you carry right now. The one you can't explain. It's not stress. It's not pressure from the world. It's not your imagination. That weight is glory drawing near. That trembling in your soul. The kind that shakes you when the room is still and no one is watching. That is the holy collision of my promise pressing into your present. Your spirit knows what your mind cannot yet grasp. Change is not coming. It is pressing. And I am the one behind it. Don't deny what you're feeling. Don't apologize for sensing what others cannot see. For what you are feeling is sacred confirmation that something divine is on the brink of birthing. You have been sensing this shift for longer than you realize. Little moments that caught your breath, sudden clarity in the middle of chaos, dreams that felt louder than the day, coincidences that weren't coincidences. All of it has been me whispering, wooing, preparing you for this hour. And now your spirit has caught the scent of breakthrough before your eyes could see it. You've been carrying invisible contractions. And now the labor has intensified, not unto death, but unto delivery. You are not breaking down. You are breaking open. You are not falling apart. You are falling into alignment. And child, I need you to recognize that this moment is weighty on purpose. My glory never enters lightly. When I move, the air changes. When I draw close, the human frame responds. That tightness in your chest, that holy disquiet, it's your body reacting to a supernatural shift that has already begun in the heavens. So don't push this feeling away. They'll dismiss it as oversensitivity or emotion. Your discernment is not exaggeration. It is divine calibration. I've been fine-tuning your inner compass for this moment. The trembling is the sound of your spirit standing to attention. You are not being shaken to scare you. You are being awakened to prepare you, because what's coming will require your full awareness. The room around you may look unchanged, but the realm you're standing in has already shifted. And soon your surroundings will follow suit. The trembling is a signal. Your inner world is syncing with my eternal timeline. The veil is thin. The moment is ripe, and heaven is pressing into earth through you. Do not be afraid of what you feel. I am not bringing fear. I am bringing fire. And my fire comes to ignite, not destroy. It comes to purify, not punish. It comes to awaken what hath been asleep inside you for far too long. The trembling is not weakness. It is power in waiting. Your heart, your lungs, your very breath is catching up to what your spirit already knows. That I am near, and that everything is about to change. Let it move you. Let it shake loose the dust. Let it break the shell. I am not finished. In fact, I've only just begun. Tonight is not just significant. It is sacred. And the trembling you feel, it's not panic, it's prophecy. And it is pointing to one undeniable truth. I am about to do what only I can do. And it will change everything. My beloved, you've asked me so many times, Lord, is this you? Is this really you speaking? Or is it just my own mind? And I have waited for this precise second to give you the confirmation your soul has longed for. I am not speaking through the clutter of chance or the randomness of happenstance. I am not hiding my voice in riddles or whispers that require decoding. No, child, this very moment, this very message, this breath of truth moving across your heart is not a coincidence. It is confirmation. And not just any confirmation, but the one you secretly hoped for. The one you dared not even speak aloud. The one your soul has cried out for in the quiet ache of longing. I've wrapped my voice in this moment so clearly, so precisely, that even the lies that have stalked your mind must now flee. The fog is lifting. The static is clearing. And what remains is this truth I am speaking. And you, my child, are hearing me right now. You've been scanning the horizon for signs. You've been scrolling through words, searching for some glimpse that you weren't forgotten. And now I say to you, this is the moment all of heaven has been rehearsing. I didn't just want to comfort you. I wanted to confirm you. Confirm your worth. Confirm your assignment. Confirm that your waiting was not wasted and your questions were not ignored. You asked for a sign, here it is. Not a shooting star, not a stranger's phrase, but the sacred collision of heaven's decree with your human desperation. You were not drawn to these words by accident. You were summoned. Heaven hand-delivered this encounter into the center of your unrest. Because I knew this was the exact hour your heart would be open enough, broken enough, hungry enough to receive what I've been holding back until now. This isn't just divine timing. It's a divine answer. You cried out, "God, just show me. Just speak to me. Just let me know you haven't changed your mind about me." And I did not answer in symbols. I answered in a sentence. And this sentence, child, is your sign. And I need you to hear me clearly. I am not in the business of teasing hearts or toying with emotions. I do not dangle hope like bait. When I speak, it is to build, not to bait. When I confirm, it is not to confuse. It is to call you higher. I'm speaking to the you beneath the exhaustion, the you behind the smile, the you who held on through storms with nothing but the memory of a promise. I'm confirming that the season you thought was silent was actually sacred. The tears you cried were not ignored. They were measured, stored, honored. I wrote them down like treasure, and I sealed them until this precise hour. And now with holy fire and fierce love, I crack open the heavens and say, I see you, I choose you, I'm still with you. And this is the moment you will never forget. Confirmation isn't coming, it's arriving, and it carries your name, your healing, your answer, your new beginning. Let this be the final time you question whether I'm speaking, because tonight, I didn't just speak through a sign. I became the sign. My child, let me speak now to the seasons you've endured in silence, those long, lonely corridors of time, where hope felt more like a ghost than a gift. I saw every day you walked with unanswered questions. Every time you whispered promises to yourself, just to get through the next hour, I saw the weight of disappointment stretch across your shoulders, like a second skin pressing down until you questioned whether breakthrough was just a fable for someone else's life. You've carried silence so long that it started to feel like your identity, a stillness that echoed louder than any word. But hear me now. I never stopped watching. I never stopped weaving. The delay wasn't denial. It was design. The silence wasn't absence. It was strategy. And what looked like dreams buried beneath dust and time were not abandoned. They were preserved. And tonight, my child, I am overturning what tried to bury you. Yes, the delay felt like death. The silence felt like abandonment. The pause felt like punishment. But I was not idle. I was intentional. While others danced in the daylight, I was forming gold in the darkness of your waiting. While the world rushed ahead, I was anchoring you so deeply that what I now release will not just bless you, it will establish you. I've watched seeds you forgot you planted begin to swell with holy tension underground. And now in this very hour, the ground cannot hold them anymore. Resurrection is here. This isn't poetic language. This is spiritual reality. I am reversing what stole your breath. I am uprooting what tried to choke your purpose. I am shaking the very soil that tried to silence you. You won't have to fight your way out of this grave. I've already rolled the stone away. I didn't come to resuscitate you. I came to resurrect you. I came to release the version of you that pain tried to keep hidden for so long. The one refined in stillness. The one others can't recognize. But I always knew. And let me be clear. What I am resurrecting is not a copy of the past. It is not some recycled version of a dream you once had. What I am bringing back to life is greater, deeper, richer than what was lost. Because what died wasn't the dream. It was the illusion of control. What perished wasn't a hope. It was the timetable you created for it. And now what remains is pure, potent, and unstoppable. The delay that once felt like defeat will now become the very foundation of your destiny. I'm not dusting off old ideas. I'm birthing new blueprints. Your life is about to sprout with such force that it will confuse those who thought your season was over. But I am the God who brings beauty out of barrenness, power out of pressure oil, out of ashes. And I tell you tonight, your deferred hope is now divine harvest. What was buried has broken through. And not only will you rise, you will flourish, you will testify, you will overflow. Because what tried to bury, you didn't know. I planted you. My beloved child, hear me clearly now. You were not forgotten. I saw you in every hidden hallway, every overlooked place, every quiet moment. When it seemed like others were chosen, others were favored, others were elevated, and you were bypassed. You told yourself it was timing. You tried to rationalize it with grace. But deep down, the sting of invisibility wrapped around your heart like a fog that wouldn't lift. And I wept with you in that place, not because I was absent, but because I knew the weight of what I was preparing would require a holy delay, a sacred pause that had nothing to do with punishment and everything to do with placement. Child, you were not overlooked. You were reserved. And there's a difference. One heaven knows intimately, and one hell fears desperately. When man passed you by, I held you close. When platforms didn't call your name, I wrote it in my scrolls. When doors closed, I didn't just open others. I built one that only you could walk through. Let me explain what others couldn't see. I was not rushing your story, because your story carries the weight of generational restoration. I was not accelerating your timeline, because the plot line of your destiny was written to climax and consecrated surprise. I wasn't trying to fit you into the mold of the masses. I was shaping you for a moment that required mystery maturity and my timing alone. If I had allowed them to see what I was doing in you too early, they would have tried to label it, contain it, manipulate it, dilute it. But I hid you not in punishment, but in preparation. I placed you in the shadows, not to shame you, but to shield you. There are things I planted in your spirit that required silence to grow. There are gifts I placed within you that needed to be protected from comparison, from compromise, from corrosion. That's why others went ahead. That's why you felt behind, because what I am doing in your life isn't common. It's consecrated. It's not generic. It's God-ordained. And I've waited until this very moment to say the unveiling has begun. The best part of your story isn't behind you. It's not hidden in a past season of success. It's not buried in the memories of better days. No, child. The best part is right here, right now. Not because of anything you've done to earn it, but because I timed it. I watched you stay loyal when it would have been easier to leave. I watched you celebrate others while secretly mourning your own delay. I saw how you smiled through the ache, how you served through the silence, how you gave when it cost you everything. And I stored it all, not just in my memory, but in my strategy. Because the hour has come for me to release what I never allowed anyone else to touch. What I am pouring into your life will not be recycled. It will not be secondhand. It will not carry the fingerprints of those who doubted you. It will arrive with the fragrance of heaven and the undeniable marks of divine origin. And when it does, they'll ask, "Where did this come from?" And you will say with tears in your eyes, "It came from the hidden place where God kept me when no one else could see me." And child, that's why it's holy. That's why it's yours. And that's why no one will be able to take it from you. Not now. Not ever. Listen to me, child. The moment you're in is not just another tick on the clock. It is not another passing evening wrapped in routine. It is not just nightfall. It is divine arrival. The hour is charging. The air is trembling. The atmosphere around you is swelling with unseen motion. I am not waiting until sunrise. I am not stalling for convenience. I am moving now. Before this day ends, before this night closes, before another second is wasted, heaven is already shifting things in your favor. I've waited for your spirit to reach this level of openness, this depth of readiness. I've watched your heart finally settle in surrender, and the moment it did, I released the command. Angels were dispatched. Assignments were activated. Doors began to shake. Delays began to dissolve. Before midnight movement will begin. You may not see it with your eyes yet, but the tremors have already started. What was still is stirring. What was silent is rumbling. And what you thought was coming someday is actually arriving tonight. I need you to understand something sacred about this timing. It's not accidental. It's appointed. Your windows in heaven that don't open often are moments that shimmer with holy urgency, where all of eternity bends closer to earth. This is one of those moments. And if you lean in fully and fearlessly, you will not miss what's being released. Don't let the stillness deceive you. The silence is not absence. It is alignment. I'm not late, I'm lightning. What I'm doing in this very hour is not slow-paced restoration. It's rapid reformation. I am rewriting timelines, rewiring outcomes, and reigniting destinies that look dormant. While the world sleeps, I am scripting your next season. Not in pencil and permanence. This shift carries weight, and it carries you, and it cannot be postponed. Heaven isn't asking for permission. Heaven is moving, and I want your heart to recognize the signs before your eyes catch up. That pressure you feel, that stirring in your chest, that sense that something is unfolding. It is. I'm not teasing change, I'm triggering it. And here is what I want you to do tonight. Posture yourself in expectancy. Do not lie down in despair. Rise up in readiness. Set your eyes on me like a watchman waits for dawn, because what I am about to unfold will not resemble your past delays. It will not move at the pace of your plans. It will move at the speed of my word. And my word is not crawling toward you. It is running. I don't need a full day to perform a miracle. I don't need a full season to release glory. I only need your yes. And you've given it quietly, faithfully, over and over again, even when your voice trembled. And because of that, yes, the clock is no longer your enemy. Time is now your testimony. By midnight, child, something will begin. A thread will pull. A curtain will lift. A door will crack. You'll feel it in the smallest detail, the gentlest nudge. But it will be real. It will be right. And it will be mine. So be ready. Because before this night ends, heaven will move, and nothing, absolutely nothing, will be the same again. My beloved, I know the pattern. You've grown used to the tightening of your spirit when you hear movement is near. I know how many times you've braced yourself not for glory, but for disappointment. You've trained your heart to prepare for another closed door, another silent night, another unfulfilled hope. And I understand why. You've been conditioned by circumstance to lower your expectations so the fall wouldn't hurt so much. But child, tonight, I need you to unlearn that fear. I'm not calling you to brace for more pain. I'm not preparing you for loss. I'm summoning you. Yes, summoning you to prepare for breakthrough. Not just a trickle of blessing, not a drizzle of hope. I'm talking about a divine deluge, a flood of fulfillment, a downpour of destiny. What's coming isn't small, and it isn't subtle. It's sacred, and it's surging. You won't need binoculars to spot it. It will arrive with such force, such favor, such holy intensity, that even your doubting thoughts will have no choice but to bow. Let me tell you something most never realize. I do not send floods where there is no foundation. I do not release overflow where there is no vessel to carry it. And you, my child, have become the vessel. Every yes whispered through clenched teeth. Every step taken without proof. Every tear that fell when no one was watching it built something in you. You didn't even know it, but while you were weeping, I was weaving. While you were surrendering, I was structuring. And now, what I have stored must pour, because the time of withholding has ended. The window of waiting has closed. And what I'm releasing isn't portioned or polite. It's powerful. You prepared long enough, and now preparation gives way to possession. So I tell you, get ready not to survive, but to overflow. Get ready not to contain pain, but to carry promise. Stop standing in the corner of life expecting leftovers. You are not a forgotten afterthought. You are my chosen outpouring, and what I'm about to release will come without apology. Yes, child, I said, flood. Because this isn't just the answer to one prayer. This is the result of years of divine accumulation. What I'm sending isn't single-layered. It's multidimensional. It will touch every part of you. Your mind, your body, your finances, your relationships, your vision, your peace. And when it comes, it won't ask for your permission. It will break through the gates of delay and flood every dry place in your soul. I'm not asking you to brace. I'm telling you to build. Widen your heart. Open the door because the surge is coming. And when it hits, it will not knock. It will enter. And you will stand in the middle of it, drenched in what you once only dreamed of. The very things you thought were permanently out of reach will come running toward you like rivers drawn to your name. I am releasing favor that flows, mercy that multiplies. Increase that overwhelms, and joy that will make you weep in wonder. You suffered in silence. Now you will dance in saturation. Not a drop will be wasted. Not a moment will be missed. The flood is not a threat. It is a gift, and it's headed straight to your door. Now listen closely, child. This is not a minor adjustment. This isn't me tweaking the edges of your existence or smoothing the corners of your calling. What I'm doing in this moment is not a renovation. It is a revolution. I am not rearranging the furniture. I'm changing the landscape. The shift is not a slight redirection. It is a complete reformation, a sacred rerouting, a holy upheaval of the very ground beneath your life. You've asked me for progress, but what I'm giving you is possession. You've prayed for a new door, but I'm giving you a new map. You've cried out for breakthrough, but I'm delivering a blueprint that redefines everything. Because, child, what I've prepared for you cannot live inside the lines you've drawn around your own future. What I'm about to do will require you to leave the familiar path entirely and follow me into something far more radical than you ever imagined. You need to understand the weight of what I'm saying. This is not just the next step, it's the next story. I'm routing your direction so drastically, so divinely, that you will look back one day and not recognize the life you left behind. And it will not be because you failed. It will be because you followed. I've seen the crossroads where you stood still waiting for a sign, paralyzed by too many paths and not enough clarity. But now, I am not giving you multiple options. I am giving you a mandate. This direction is not open for negotiation. It is being handed to you as a divine directive, because what's waiting at the end of this route isn't just opportunity. It's empowering. It's where your anointing begins to activate in ways you never believed were possible. It's where every gift I placed inside you starts to roar. It's where your footsteps begin echoing in realms far beyond your natural reach. This change will cost comfort. It will challenge assumptions. It will confuse those around you who only knew you by your last assignment. But this rerouting is not about them. It's about me and you. It's about the reason you were born. And I couldn't let you stay on a path that was too small for your spirit. You were never meant to arrive where logic tried to lead you. You were meant to walk in fire, in glory, in divine unfolding. And now the route is shifting. Not subtly, not quietly, but completely. The path is being redrawn, and I'm walking ahead of you. Follow me without fear. Trust me without borders. You won't recognize the terrain at first, but your spirit will know the way. I have encoded this journey into your DNA, and every step will feel like home to the real you, the one I created before the world told you who you had to be. Child, don't resist the rerouting. Don't mourn the path you're leaving. What's ahead is so much more. This isn't the road you planned, but it is the one I promised. My child, I saw it before you ever said a word. That ache in your chest that wouldn't let you rest. That sacred stirring that crept into your quiet hours. That unshakable feeling like something was about to begin, but hadn't yet arrived. You tried to name it as anxiety. You wondered if it was just stress or some emotional residue from old disappointments. But let me tell you clearly now, it wasn't fear. It wasn't confusion. It was me. That ache was divine agitation. That stirring was sacred summoning. That holy unrest was not a warning. It was an invitation. I was knocking on the door of your destiny, and your spirit recognized the rhythm before your mind could make sense of it. Because, child, when my glory comes near the air, itself begins to vibrate with promise. I don't need thunder to announce myself. Sometimes I arrive in the tension between what you thought you needed and what I've always planned. That ache, the one you carried so long you began to call it normal. It came with the echo of your calling, brushing up against your complacency. You see, glory doesn't knock politely. It presses, it pulses, it pulls, it shakes things loose. When my presence gets close, your soul cannot stay still. And that's what you've been feeling lately. A stirring that started small, like a breeze in your chest, and then grew until it became a roaring wind you couldn't ignore. It didn't come to torment you. It came to tenderize you. Because what I am awakening in you cannot be accessed with logic or forced with effort. It has to be birthed. And birth doesn't begin with answers. It begins with ache. Glory doesn't announce itself with comfort. It arrives with contradiction. And the contradiction you've been living in, knowing something is coming, but not seeing it, yet had been the spiritual signal that heaven was already on the move. This is how I work in my chosen ones. I let the ache linger just long enough to break every false anchor. I allow the stirring to swirl until every counterfeit comfort is exposed for what it is temporary. You couldn't settle down into what was good enough, could you? What once felt safe started feeling suffocating because I was pulling you out of what was good enough into what is God-ordained. I stirred your water so the well could overflow. I disrupted your normal so I could deliver your new. And now, child, the knocking isn't distant anymore. It's right at your door. I'm not speaking through pain. I'm speaking through pressure. The kind of pressure that precedes purpose. So don't silence it. Don't stuff it down. Don't anesthetize it. This ache is proof of proximity. It's not trauma. It's transition. My glory is near. My hand is raised. And your door to your heart, your house, your horizon is next. While the world rested in indifference, I was rising in intent. While others overlooked you, underestimated you, misjudged your silence as weakness, I never stopped working. I never stepped away. I never paused my plans or postponed my presence. You couldn't see it, but I was moving in stealth. My hands were sculpting behind the scenes. I was forming things in realms untouched by your fears, and far beyond your understanding. My child, while the voices of men grew quiet, and their faith in you faded into background noise, I increased my investment in your destiny. The world slept on your value, but heaven stayed wide awake. Not once did I blink. Not once did I stop. Because what I was building required secrecy. Not because it was small, but because it was sacred. But I construct in silence and unveil in power. And now that moment has come. Let me show you the contrast, because contrast makes clarity clearer. The world saw stillness, but I saw strategy. I assumed your pause was a plateau, but I was preparing a platform. You weren't stuck. You were being structured. And now, child, the unveiling is near. I'm bringing forth what no hand but mine could finish. What you thought had stalled was really being sealed, stamped with the authority of eternity. You thought maybe it was never meant to be. But I say, it was never meant to be without me. I held it back, not because I didn't care, but because I cared too much to let man touch what only my hand could complete. I didn't want fingerprints of compromise on your calling. I wanted it pure. And now, what was hidden in holy silence is being wrapped in heavenly unveiling. I know you felt alone while others advanced. I know it crushed your heart to see the unfaithful succeed and the unqualified be celebrated. But child, I wasn't building what's common. I was crafting what's consecrated. And consecrated things take time. They take tears. They take trust. I didn't rush this because what I'm doing through you can't be undone. It will not crumble under pressure. It will not dissolve under scrutiny. This isn't flimsy favor. It's fortified fire. I've sealed this season in my own glory. And now what was once a prayer whispered through trembling lips will become a testimony that shouts through nations. You were not overlooked. You were overwatched. You were not denied. You were divinely designed. And what I finished in secret, I now release in splendor. Watch and see. You won't need to fight to be noticed. I will display my work through your life with such radiance that even your enemies will pause in awe. For what I start, I always finish, and this holy work in you is finished. Child, breathe this in deeply. You didn't earn what's coming. You entrusted yourself to me when nothing made sense. You let go when others clung tight. You surrendered when others scrambled. You bowed low when others tried to build high on shallow ground. And now, what I am about to pour into your life is not the reward of effort. It is the reward of emptying. You didn't strive your way into this moment. You surrendered into it. You didn't push your way into favor. You yielded your will in the quiet and trusted that I was still writing, still weaving, still watching. Do you remember those moments? The nights when your yes was only a whisper, when your strength was hanging by a thread and your faith flickered like a flame in the wind. I remember them, and I want you to know I counted every one. This moment, this holy hour of breakthrough, is not the result of force. It's the fruit of faithfulness. I watched how you refused to manipulate what I hadn't yet manifested. I saw the battles behind your silence. When others promoted themselves, you remained still. When others built platforms, you built altars. And those altars caught fire. Child, they drew my presence. Because surrender is a magnet for glory. You didn't fight to be seen. You fought to stay surrendered, and that kind of obedience, that kind of purity is not ignored in my kingdom. It is amplified. Heaven did not reward the noise of ambition. It responds to the stillness of surrender. And your stillness spoke louder than any performance ever could. Let me be clear, this is not a transaction. This is a testimony. You didn't surrender to get something. You surrendered because you trusted someone. Me. And now I am releasing what you could never have earned through effort. This is the paradox of the kingdom. The more you laid down, the more I lifted up. The more you released, the more I refined. While the world taught you to grasp, I taught you to give up. And now your yes, though small and sound, has created a symphony in heaven. I will not let it return void. Your surrender wrote a new soundtrack over your life, and now the melody of miracles is beginning to play. You didn't chase favor. Favor is now chasing you. You didn't demand doors. Doors are now opening of their own. Because true surrender doesn't just get heaven's attention, it gets heaven's response. So I say this over you now. Well done, my child. You didn't have the full picture. You didn't have the full plan, but you had the heart posture I was looking for. And that posture is what prepared you. You didn't know where the yes would lead, but you trusted that I did. And now I'm about to take that quiet yes and turn it into a loud unveiling. Others will look and wonder how you got here. They'll try to trace the steps, but they won't find a blueprint of striving. They'll only find the holy residue of surrender, because this moment wasn't earned by merit. It was unlocked by me and your yes. You are the key. You feel that stirring right now, because what I just spoke over your life wasn't only for you. It was a spark meant to light fires in others. And some of you right now have a seed of oil in your hands, not just for your miracle, but for someone else's breakthrough. When you sow into this word, you are not tipping a message. You are fueling a mission. You are helping me send this prophetic fire to those who feel like all hope is gone. Give, and it shall be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, running over. That is not poetry. It is a prophetic contract, and I am honoring it tonight. If your spirit has been stirred, and you feel me tugging, this is your moment, not tomorrow. Go now. My child, as you have heard, my voice tonight, do not let this word fall to the ground. Respond to me in faith. If your spirit has been stirred, and you believe that sudden breakthrough has already begun, type Amen in the comments. Right now, as your declaration of agreement with heaven. Right, I receive my sudden shift, and my miracle is already in motion. For every word you release in the comments, you activate it in the Spirit. If this encounter has brought confirmation, comfort, and holy fire to your heart, hit the like button as a sign that you stand in full agreement with what I have spoken over your life. And do not keep this word to yourself. Share this video with someone who has been waiting in silence, someone who needs to know that their delay was never denial, and that their moment has finally come. As you share my word, you become a carrier of my glory, and I will multiply the blessing back into your own life. This night is marked. Your response matters. So comment, like, and share before this divine window closes, and watch what I do next in response to your faith. I am moving, and nothing will remain the same. Man,